Welcome to a brand new episode of the Oracles. My name is Manelisi, and with me is the most amazing co-pilot, the beautiful, the superstar Oracle, Zima Zibugo. This week's episode is giving Zimbabwe, but only the best of it. This week we're joined by an amazing broadcaster and MC. She holds an honors degree in media with a double major in public relations and professional and intercultural communication. She has hosted major events in Namibia and Zimbabwe, as well as South Africa, such as World Music Day, the Coca-Cola World Cup Trophy Tour 2010, the Afropop Jazz Festival, and Vigo Summer Launch, amongst many, many others. And she has been on radio for 16 years. She's currently one half of the hip hop radio show, The Fix, alongside a PD that goes on ZFM Stereo. Make sure to check it out every Wednesday from 9 p.m. until 12 a.m. This lady is a gift to hip hop. She's an ambassador of Zim Hip Hop. She has a personality and a voice as beautiful as she is, and she's an absolutely incredible broadcaster. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are honored to be joined by our first Zimbabwean guest, our very first media personality. President Emerson Mnangagwa's government knows her as a Kuda Dzenga, but we know her as the amazing Lady Kuda or Lady K. Lady Kuda, how are you?
Oh my goodness, what an intro. Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah.
great. Very glad to be
Yeah.
here. Thank you so much. It's taken a bit of time for me to get here, but I am so glad
Yeah.
that I'm finally here. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're well, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
so much for
we're
joining
good,
us.
man. Yeah, we're good. Thank you so much for joining us. We are truly excited to have you.
Yeah,
Because we understand your schedule is very, very crazy. You're always busy, always on the move. So we are always patient with our guests because we are working on your time, basically. Wherever you are able to fit
Appreciate
us
that.
in, that's when we will get in. Yeah. So we are very, very happy that today, finally, this is happening.
Very glad to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, because I understand that you have moved quite a bit. You've been all over the place, but I want to start with Zimbabwe. Where in Zimbabwe are you from exactly?
I'm from Harare.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
So
yes.
everything basically just happened there, school, and all of that.
Okay, so I have a very interesting story. I'm a globetrotter. So I was born in Zimbabwe, but I didn't really grow up in Zim. I think when I was
Mm,
like 2 years old, I moved to Belgium, stayed there for like 7 years, and then came back to Zim for like a year or so. And then we moved to Kuwait for about 7 years. And then we came back to Zimbabwe for about 3 years. And then I moved to Namibia for 6 years. And then, oh no, wait, I missed something. No, wait. After we came back to Zim, I came to SA actually. Sorry, I came to SA. I came to SA for a little bit.
yeah.
And then from SA, I was in SA for 3 years. And then after SA, we moved to Namibia. Yes, there we go. And then I was in South Africa for a year, and then I went back to Zim. And then in Zimbabwe, I was there for about 6, 7 years. And then I eventually moved to South Africa, where I've been here for the past 4 years.
Wow. No, you really are a globetrotter, honestly.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, and you
Yeah.
literally just 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, like it's not a year here, just 2 years. It's a lot. Like you've really traveled and you spend time where you were. Like, and it's amazing. How was that experience actually before you go further?
I think it's been amazing. I won't lie. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity. Obviously, I was moving with my
Mm,
family because of my dad's job, but I think that one thing that I can definitely take away that I can say is really helping me now, especially with my career and everything that I'm doing, is that the constant traveling exposes you to so many different things. It exposes you to so
yeah.
many different people, so many different cultures, music wise. Oh my goodness, it's been an incredible journey, and I think I don't even have a favorite country. I'm literally one of those people who can say I've got friends all over the world. I literally have friends all over the world. I mean, I think the downside of it, obviously, is that part, is that my friends are literally everywhere, all over the world. I think if I was to ever get married, it's going to be so difficult to try and get everyone in one country. I don't even know which country it's going to be, but it's been incredible. I always highly advise if you can just get a little couple of stamps on your passport, guys. It doesn't matter whether you're going to Botswana, whether it's Mozambique, just travel. Travel a little, find out what other people are doing, what other people are listening to. It's a great, great experience.
And like that's really crazy. Like what kind of job what job did your father do that made you go all around the world?
My father's a diplomat. Well, he's retired now, but he was a diplomat.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that makes sense then. That makes sense. So what basically your entire life you've been basically in the first class of everything. Like even in a career, your broadcasting, like that's first class broadcasting. Your hosting is first class hosting. Everything is just first class for you.
You can say something like that, yes. But the thing is, my broadcasting, can I be honest? I didn't even want to be on radio. That wasn't my goal. If anything, I promise you, never. If anything, I wanted to be on TV because ever since I was like in creche, I've always been a very outspoken child. Like you'll find me in every single school play ever since I was in creche. So being on the stage, oh, that was my place. But radio never crossed my mind at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy now. Seeing that you've been broadcasting for so many years, right? And it was never part of your plan. When did radio actually come in?
So first year at university, I went to the University of Namibia. That's where I studied my degree. My first year, I was the first year, so there was like this huge notice board for first years. And I think it's just notices, what's happening, registration here, all that jazz. So on that notice board, they had said they were looking for people to provide content for radio. So because I've always loved music, I always used to listen to the radio. And I remember before I was in Namibia, I was in South Africa, and I used to listen to a lot of radio back then. So when I came to Namibia, mind you, I was only there for like a month, but the radio station, the campus radio, I'd listened to it. And I said, nah, it's not that great. There's so many things that they can change. So when I saw that notice, I was like, I'm definitely going to go and give them some content. I went and I saw the station manager there, and I was like, okay, so I'm here. I saw your notice. You're looking for content. And I literally gave him an entire breakdown of how the radio station should sound like. So he looks at me and he's like, listen, have you ever been on radio before? I was like, no. I was like, listen, I'm not here for that. I'm here to give you content. If you do this and you play this music here and you do that, I really believe this is how this radio station keep like the dopest campus radio that you guys have got in the country. And then he's like, okay, look, so I'm going to put you on air in the next 30 minutes and let's take it from there. And I was like, no. I didn't come here for that. Listen to what I'm saying. I came here to give you content. He's like, no, I just need you to go on air and talk how you're talking to me now. Just do that. I'm usually not a very shy person. I'm not very nervous in certain situations. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? And literally, that's how I started my radio career. I went on radio. Can I say by mistake? Actually. By mistake, yes. I like to say by mistake.
Yeah.
But they were placed there for a reason.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I don't know, man. I mean, even when I went back home and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I have a radio show. So what do you mean you've got a radio show? It's like, I was given a radio show. So what do you mean you were given a radio show? I was like, I'm going to be on radio next week. She's like, okay. That's not what you said you're going to go do, but okay. All the best.
But what was the intention with your degree always been to get on TV, or did you have other plans outside of TV, or other plans outside of the dream of being on TV?
So another funny story, when I was in South Africa, so I did my A-levels here. I don't know if you guys know A-levels, because I know South Africa it's matric. It's
Oh yeah.
Cambridge. It's a Cambridge system. So basically, you do O
Yeah.
levels, and then you do your A levels, and then you go to varsity. So I
Yeah.
completed my AS levels here in Joburg, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do. So my dad was like, okay, if you don't know what you want to do, you're going to take a gap year to figure out what you want to do. And in that gap year, I wouldn't be like, I didn't do anything. I just partied. My sister had just come from the UK. That's all we did. I didn't have a plan. Then the next thing, my dad was being transferred to Namibia, and obviously now the party ended. So literally, I think the week we arrived, was it? No, I think a month later, registrations opened for the year. And my dad was like, okay, I'm taking you there. When you're done, give me a call. So I had no perspective. I didn't have go for, nobody had told me, so this is what you can do. Nothing. So when I got to the campus, obviously it's different humanities. I said
Yeah.
medicine, nope. Law, nope. I said no to everything except for humanities. Then I went through all of their different degrees. And then the one that caught my eye obviously was media, because I was like, okay, well, media, that's more of me. I feel like I can play around and figure out something, because that's literally who I am. I'm an incredible talker. I'm very good at talking. And this is what I should be doing, something within this field. And then I just decided to go through, and I was like, PR, I can do PR, and I can do that. And then communication, because that was something I'm very good at. I've been good at ever since I was very young. So then I said, okay, let me put two and two together. I'm very sure I can be able to end up in the PR, marketing, or advertising space. So let's just do it. And then, so I started radio literally my first year. I could have changed I think I only majored, no, you had to select your majors then and there. I could have actually changed them into broadcasting, because there was an option for actually doing broadcasting or TV, print, and media, but I didn't. I was like, no, I'm going to continue these, because I wanted versatility, and I wanted something else other than just broadcasting, because the minute you go down the broadcasting route, that's literally all you're going to be doing. Whereas with what I selected, it's a little bit more, it's wider. There's so much more that you can do with that. So that's basically it. That's just everything I have is just by coincidence, and it just
I was
happens to
about
work
to
out for
go there.
one way or another.
You
So
just
yeah,
find
that's how it
yourself in these situations.
girl. Because my dad was like, look, let me know when you're done. Nobody spoke to me. Nobody asked me. My dad was like, figure yourself out. You're adults. So, and then when I came back, he's like, so what are you doing? I was like, I'm doing media. He's like, okay, I guess that's it. And then do media. And here I am.
And here you are 16 years later of being
Girl.
amazing at it. And now my question right now is, seeing that you were not necessarily looking to go into radio, like growing up from when you were a kid, right? Now, throughout your radio journey, you starting broadcasting and everything, did you ever not necessarily look up to someone, but did you ever have like a big influence on your radio career, or someone in radio? Like, who is the biggest influence, if you have any?
So you see, the thing, like I said, I traveled a lot. So there were so many different people in so many different countries. So the one country that really impacted me, funnily enough, was South Africa. Because remember, I came here for high school. And those days I was listening to YFM. I was
Yeah.
listening to Lee Kasumba. I was listening to DJ Fresh.
Yeah.
Back in Kuwait, I was listening. So Kuwait is it's an Arab country, and the majority of the radio stations are all in Arabic. It's either you can understand Arabic or you can't. But then they had this one DJ. Her name was DJ Linda, and she was actually American. And she had this great English segment on radio, and I just loved it. I think it was the fact that, I mean, obviously there isn't that big of a population of people who speak Arabic, English within Kuwait, but she had a great engaging show, an English speaking show in an
Yeah.
Arabic dominated country. And to me, that was just mind blowing that somebody could do that. And she was a woman. That was another thing as well, because the majority of other presenters were male. Come to South Africa. Now, I started listening to hip hop whilst I was studying Kuwait. So now when I come to South Africa, I now hear Lee Kasumba on radio and she's doing a hip hop show.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute now, what's going on over here? I was completely fascinated, and then it just grew from there. those were the people that I really, and DJ Fresh. I even
Yeah.
remember when he moved from one radio station to the next. He had this huge
Yeah.
party. I was in high school. Like we all had to lie to our parents. I don't know what we said. We said we were going somewhere, but we went to his party. His party was
Yeah.
amazing, and I absolutely loved what he did. And DJ Spoo as well. A lot
Yeah.
of the radio that I
Yeah.
really picked up a lot of things from were literally from South Africa, a little bit from Kuwait. And then once I eventually settled back, so what happened was with Zimbabwe, it started a little bit late because the time I started to get
Okay.
into radio, I wasn't exposed to any Zimbabwean radio. So the time I only started to get back or started to get exposed to Zimbabwean radio presenters, what they're doing was when I went back after I had actually finished varsity. And you can imagine how old I am then. Now I have to literally catch
Okay.
up with everybody's there. But then when I
Yeah.
did get there, there were some incredible people. The Makalimas, that's so many the brothers, and there's TK, Tich Mataz, incredible people who are just doing a lot of great things on radio. And then once again, I just happened to get on ZFM, and then I was surrounded by a lot of these people. So all of these people that I just spoke of were literally at ZFM Stereo. So I had the opportunity to actually work amongst them. And I remember um, Delani Makalima actually trained me when I started at ZFM, and he's literally a radio legend in Zimbabwe. And
Wow.
then there was
Mhm.
also Tony Friday. Tony Friday, I mean, if you just have to say his name when it comes to Zimbabwean
Yeah.
radio personalities, he's one person that a lot of people know of. So the people that I got influenced were the people I was exposed to at that particular time. And remember, like I told you,
Yeah.
I used to listen to radio, but it
Mm.
wasn't what I really wanted to do. So I didn't really pay that much attention. I mean, I paid attention to music because I love music. So I'd be like, this is a really good
Yeah.
song. This is a terrible song. Why would you put this song first and then that song? And then you'd hear presenters who'd be able to place different songs in such a way that it just flows through. That is what I was picking up on, the technicalities of radio.
Mm.
So eventually when I got onto radio, now obviously I'm a little bit more exposed. There's so many people that are
Yeah.
now hearing and listening to as well. So it was quite incredible. And obviously not to forget Namibia. In Namibia, there are so many incredible radio presenters. There was Where, Cheese, uh, NSK now is doing a lot of drama in Namibia, but there are quite a lot of people who I got exposed to according to the area or the country, I'd like to say, that I was living in that particular time.
That is
Yeah.
amazing, man. Yo,
And
thinking about it, like the
yeah, like
exposure that you got, the lessons that you picked up along the way from different people in different countries, that's beautiful. Like it's something gonna keep with you forever. Like gonna cherish that forever.
Absolutely.
yeah, and like because now I'm listening to you, you mentioned all of these things, especially with the aspects of what with radio, like how basically the scheduling, as well as the playlisting of music. Would you actually even consider going into the background of radio instead of being on air?
So with our show, because it's a specialty show, we
Mm.
Yeah,
produce our entire show. So from 9 p.m. to midnight, we literally
uh,
sit
yeah,
down and we do everything. So we schedule our links, we schedule ad breaks, we schedule news, we schedule music, we
Oh,
playlist our music, everything is done. So I mean, look, I've been on radio since 2008. I've been doing the fix now for 7 years, 8 years. I'm definitely going to be hanging my cape very soon, and I'll definitely be
yeah.
going into the background. There's so much that I know that I can't keep it to myself. I have to pass it on. I really just think that's how this industry is
yeah,
all about. That's how it's supposed to be. Everything that you know, that you've learned, that you've gained, the experience, the knowledge, it's all about just passing it on to the next person. So I'm definitely going to be retiring soon. I mean, I'm not going to completely disappear. It's going to be very hard to get rid of me, in my opinions.
yeah,
But I will be going into the background very soon. I do have vast knowledge of how a show should sound like, how a show should not
yeah.
sound like. Things like links, things like playlisting, how to put particular songs at particular times. You can't go from a hip hop
Mm,
song to a jazz song.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't do that. So yes, obviously, those are things I'll definitely want to eventually get into once I've planned it out. Yes.
Yeah. And because you guys are basically producing your own show, right? From start
Mm-hmm.
to finish and all of that. I know what that is like. But I want to know from you your experience of that. Like, do you ever get tired of doing that? I mean, obviously, doing the entire show in itself is exciting. It's always exciting to do a radio show, especially if you're producing it yourself. But what's that experience like for you? Doing it on a weekly basis, especially for a speciality show.
Um, so it's exciting. I'm not gonna sit here and say
Yeah,
I don't enjoy it. I mean, obviously, if anything, the only thing that makes it a little bit difficult for me is dealing with the artists. Who artists can
yeah,
Mm.
give you the runaround,
yeah,
Yeah.
And I know I have the biggest hip hop show in the country. Like no one can even try and come bar to bar to me. You just can't. Because
yeah,
when me and PD came together, what we literally said, we are both going to be very consistent in one thing, and that was the content that we're going to produce is going to be like nothing that any other radio station in the country
Mm-hmm.
has. So now
mm,
it's a thing of every single week, I have to make sure I have to come through with something different. That's very stressful because you can
yeah,
imagine
Yeah.
you're literally trying to find. I don't want to say anything because I'm very specific about who I interview. I'm very specific about what I say. I'm very specific about we're even very specific about our playlist. So you will find that sometimes it's just tough. There are some times where I don't even do my segment. Why? Because
yeah,
I don't have any Zim hip hop content. Someone will be like, no, that's not possible, Lady K. You're just being lazy. And I'm like, to my standards, no, there's nothing that I want to play today. If somebody drops something maybe next week, then I can do it. But it's exciting at times, sometimes very frustrating. You
yeah,
can like when I was in Zim, you book the biggest artist there is, and then literally 5 minutes before you've been doing pre-hypes, you've been marketing, you've been doing this, the coin they tell you, oops, sorry, I can't come. Now you have to literally think off the top of your head, something that's just gonna work in place of that. And yeah, those are the frustrations. But it's very rewarding because Zim hip hop at the current moment where it is today,
Mm-hmm.
it's doing so great compared to like a couple of years ago. It didn't have this much momentum. There weren't that many of these artists, there wasn't that much hype. So right now, Zim hip hop is so exciting. So every week for me now, okay, some weeks and some weeks not. It's always great to come on air and be able to speak about something. But now what we also
Mm-hmm.
did
yeah,
was, as much as we're promoting and pushing Zim hip hop, that's obviously our number one mandate. We also decided let's also open up to other hip hop artists across literally the world. Not just
mm,
Africa, not just Europe, not just America, anyone, anywhere who's doing anything really dope. Let's add it to our show to give it that extra, kick. So, for instance, if Blackie drops a new song, you're definitely gonna hear them on the fix. That is
Yeah.
100% sure. Maglera goes on tour and does something with Hennessy. I'm gonna get the brand manager of Hennessy on the fix talking about collaborations with hip hop. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm very conscious and I'm very aware of what I'm doing. So I know that I want my show to be very different. So I need to make sure that I'm in the spaces that speak obviously very positively about hip hop and promote hip hop like to the max. And I need to have that on my show. So
Yeah.
all of this combined is great. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's also very tiring because now
Yeah.
remember, I've now put all this pressure on myself to every week I
yeah,
have to deliver. And like I said, sometimes you just can't. And it's okay. Maybe tomorrow you might not hear him on air, but PD will be there. PD will be there talking about
Mm-hmm.
what he
yeah,
needs to do or whatever. And then next week, I'll take over the entire 3 hours. It's just me talking about this, talking about that. The playlist, the music is this, like that. It's a balance. So you'll get a lot of highs. Obviously, you get a lot of lows. We've been doing the show, like I said. I think this will be, I don't even know how many years we're doing. I think this is our seventh or
Yeah.
sixth year,
yeah,
and we've won four. Zim Hip Hop
Oh,
Award
that's amazing.
um, awards for
Oh,
best radio presenters for the best hip hop show in Zim. So, you know, those are the
yeah.
highs where it does pay off eventually, you know what I mean? But it takes time. A lot of people don't even understand that. So there's a lot that goes on. It's exciting, it's
Yeah.
frustrating. I mean, hey, I've had my fair share of internet trolls because of my very different views. We're also very honest on
Mm,
our show. We don't lie. We tell you
Mm.
like it is, but a lot of people don't seem to like that, which is fair and fine. I mean, opinion, you can either like it or you don't like it. So there's always that's the low for me where you have to
yeah.
fight for an opinion, you know. And if it's not an opinion that everybody wants to hear, you will go through the most, which I've been through enough times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gone through it. I enjoy it. Like the fix is my baby. And even Petey the Ghost, you even just ask him anything about hip hop, very passionate. And you
Mm,
know, you can tell someone who's very passionate about something from the way they speak about it. So
yeah.
it's
Mm.
great. I love it. I enjoy it, and it's definitely something that I'm not going to give up anytime soon. But yeah, it's worth
Yeah.
it. I love it.
So it's you saying you're not gonna give up anytime soon. You basically saying I'm gonna be in the background. I'll still be around, just not in the
Yes,
forefront of
Yeah.
everything.
absolutely.
Speaking about opinions, now, you've stated where Zim Hip Hop is currently and the work it has taken for you guys to get where you are as the industry. Where do you see it going from here on?
Zim Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Oh no, Zim Hip Hop. So, like I said, Zim Hip Hop. Okay, so in Zimbabwe, the one of the main big genres is dancehall, right?
Hmm.
And
Mm.
it was flooded. The entire industry was flooded with a lot of Zim dancehall artists, and there were, you know, a couple of Zim hip hop artists. They weren't really making, they weren't really mainstream. They weren't really being, you know, it's when you're having like an event. I think that's the one thing that also changed dramatically in the last couple of months is that you wouldn't get a lot of Zim hip hop artists build on a lot of events. Not really, but a lot of Zim dancehall artists, absolutely. So what has happened is that a lot of artists have come out and they're starting to produce an incredible mainstream music. And it's getting conversations. We're now talking about artists actually getting brand endorsements. They never used to get those things, you know. So Zim hip
Mm,
hop right now, it's so exciting to watch. It's so exciting to be a part of. I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and say we're on the same level or the same frequency as South African hip hop. Absolutely not. But
hmm.
I really do think everything anywhere starts from somewhere. And right now, with the momentum that we have, oh no, if we keep this up, like we are gonna be dominating so much. I mean, the current moment, the majority of the top five artists, like literally consecutively for the past 6 months or so, has literally been Zim hip hop artists. We never used to have that. A Zim hip hop artist in the top five on Apple or Audio
Hmm.
Mac or Spotify, we never used to have that. But now people are paying attention, people are attending the shows. When Zim hip hop artists come out and are built on these really big platforms, the artists, the fans are just incredible. So I'm really excited about Zim hip hop. I know we're gonna get somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of work that
Hmm.
needs to be done. A lot of egos need to be tamed. I mean, it's hip hop. I mean, that's what it's all about, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
A lot of work needs to be
Yeah.
done. A lot of groundwork. We need more quality content because I know as much as these artists locally in Zim, they're
Hmm.
superstars. Superstars. There's one artist who goes by the name of Volts JT. He released a project, I think a month or so ago, and we've never seen anything like it where he's going to shows. So we've got these barricades where so one of the biggest artists we have in the country is called Winky D. He's a dancehall artist. So when he performs or when Ja Praiser performs, the two biggest artists, one of the two biggest artists we
Hmm.
have, they have there's certain types of barricades that they put up because of the magnitude of the fans that they have. That if you put up a normal barricade, they're gonna break it down. But there's certain barricades that they put for these artists. They're now starting to put them for Zim hip hop artists. I know it doesn't sound like a
Nice.
big thing, but coming
Nice.
from where I'm coming from, it's a
Yeah.
huge thing. And when Vost JT got on stage one time with those barricades, people were like, no, don't worry, these are job praises barricades. He's not gonna break them down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's so heartwarming to see that people are starting to open up and be able to relate more to these artists. I would love for them to start, you know, collaborating across the border, doing a little bit more international things. But I think for now, what they're doing locally, so beautiful. They're doing so well. And I know eventually things are going to be able to move for them to be in actual other spaces where other people can start talking about them as well.
And how are they as artists, like DJs, the rappers themselves? Are they like a family? You know how they South Africans like saying "I'm a piano to the world." How I'm a piano artists move together, but our hip hop artists, it takes a while to get them there because, as you said earlier, egos and everything. So how are the hip hop artists and DJs aside?
So the hip hop artists, okay, so they're getting there. I'd like to say that. I do think there is a uniform with them. They're together. There's a certain vibe when, okay, so here right now, one of the biggest things that's happening in Zimbabwe is called Shabinia. There are these two artists called Do Major and Dingo the Duke who came up with what is called Shabin rap, right? Very interesting guys. They decided to take the music and it's a beautiful sound. So what they did was they started hosting what is called Shabinia. So these two rappers decided we're going to have these monthly link ups with different rappers and they're going to all be performing at the same time. And this is it's still new, but the togetherness I've seen with these hip hop artists, incredible. So you've got your upcoming artists, you've got your established artists, and you've got your superstars all build on one stage every single month, and they're coming together. They're rapping along with everyone's lyrics. It's just one big party every single month, and it's really nice to see. I mean, there are obviously some artists. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say we are all one big happy family. No, there's some artists who move solo, not interested in anybody else. I mean, and the thing is, I was even complaining the other day. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. When you come and you perform songs, right? And you'll build on a lineup with other artists, and you have songs you've done together with other artists on the lineup. Please explain to me why the both of you are not performing the song on the same stage. You're there, you're literally there at the same time. But then you see, it's those little things. And it's like, okay, but come on, guys. Like, really? I know you now there's this one trying to beef with this one because this one's fans or he's doing better right now and he's not doing so well. So you find that this artist is just a little bit towards it. I mean, look, it's hip hop. We can't sit here and say they're all gonna be one big happy family and sing kumbaya. That's not gonna happen. It's hip hop. Hip hop is a contact sport. I'm not gonna sit here and try and smile at you when I know you're doing better than me right now. No, I'm not. So when I see you, I'm gonna walk past you. I'm gonna be with my squad. You got your squad. You stay in your corner. I stay in my corner. Great. We still have that. And then you get the other guys, like I told you, like the Dingo Duke and Do Major, who are just trying to bring a formality with bringing the artists together. And I think it helps us, the fans, because I want to see all of you guys all together. It's great because we don't have many hip hop events like you do here in South Africa. Like South Africa, literally every 3 weeks something is popping up. But in Zim, we don't have that. We'll have maybe 1 to 3 events the entire year, literally. So this one that I've just started, the Shibinia, it's a great movement. I love it. Unfortunately, I haven't been to any because I'm in SA, but I'm hoping I can catch the December one because I'm going to be back home. But it's hip hop, guys. Let's be honest. There's some artists, even here in SA, there's some artists who don't even want to be seen in the same changing room area or the same chill area with another artist. That's just how it is. And does it make the game exciting? Yeah, it does. It's a bit silly, in my opinion, but it is what it is. And I think that's what makes hip hop a little bit more exciting. And it gives me content to talk about. Yes, I need content. That's great content to talk about on radio,
No, it really is.
I mean, Z?
No, I'm saying it really is great content. They give you something to talk about. So also, as you said earlier, you can't always have them sing Kumbaya. I feel like the excitement of them beefing now and again, it's amazing. And also, it makes them rap better. Maybe it's just me, but
the beef, right? How can I tell you? I'm on the edge with beef. So you'll find. So there was this one beef that started in some hip hop. This upcoming, nobody knew him. Some guy out of nowhere decides to come and diss some of the biggest artists in Bulawayo. So it's another city, one of the biggest cities that we have in Zimbabwe. And He literally went for everyone. So everyone was like, who are you? You know? You see, so beef like that for me doesn't make sense, because what he was trying to do was he was trying to get attention.
Yeah.
So there was no beef because he started something out of nothing. And what he was trying to do was he was trying to trend, which he did, but unfortunately the song was whack. Like, it was just terrible.
Yikes.
And then one of the artists retaliated and completely crushed the very little or the non-existent little career that he had. And then I was like, you see, now your non-existent career is completely dead because you started to bully a bunch of already artists. If he wanted, if anything, he could have just, reached out, like, okay, guys, I'd like to do like something, anything. But that kind of beef to me doesn't make any sense. And people are like, no, we need it in the industry. I'm like, no, we don't. What do we need? The rappers that he basically came after, the dopest rappers that we have in that city. So obviously they already know that they can rap. And I know when you said that it makes them rap better, I won't lie to you, that rap diss, I'm going to send it to you guys. I need you guys to listen to that song. Probably one of the hardest diss songs. I was like, yes, this is how you make a diss song. And I was excited because I was like, okay, fine. If we're going to do it like this, then okay.
Let's go.
He started about it. It's not really necessary, you know what I mean? Beef like that. And also for me, beef must it must rile up people. It must bring up more people. He only got responded by one rapper. And the rest were like, we're not doing this. This is child's play. You know what I mean?
We don't even
but then
know
now
who
when
this
you
is.
get beef with two artists and there's actual beef, like you took my girl type of vibes, or your squad has said something about my squad, then you know you're gonna get a couple of hit songs out of this beef. You know what I'm saying? That okay, cool. But everything else, nah. That kind of approach for me, it's weak. It's weak. You're trying to use controversy to move forward, and I don't mess with that. If you make good music, it will run. Regardless of whether I go on radio and say it's a whack song. A good song is a good song. That's literally it. I can't take it away from you. No other radio person can take it away from you. If a good song is a good song and it hits in the streets and the streets love it, you're good to go, you know? So drop songs that make sense and drop songs that you know this song is a dope song. I really believe the song. I worked hard for it. Let me let the streets decide if I can be part of everything that everybody was doing, part of this hip-hop community. Do that, you know? Not try and create beef to trend for a week, and then after a week nobody even remembers your name. Like, I don't actually remember his name. I don't remember his name. But I know the rapper who retaliated. I know it's K Breezy, but the rapper who started the whole beef, I don't remember his name. What's his name? I don't remember. I think he's actually based here in Joburg, funnily enough.
Really?
His name.
Clouds is a drug, guys. So he was thinking it's gonna pop up from that. It happens. A lot of people do that.
Drop songs, guys. There's no need to. I'm not for controversy to push sales, because you see, controversy is fun. Controversy, it ignites, it excites people. But remember, you're living in a digital world where you can be trending from 9 a.m. to 10:54. 10:55, there's going to be some bozo somewhere who's going to do something 10 times worse. They're going to be concentrating on him from 10:55 to 4:55. Winner and your controversy at the beginning of the day, it's done. We've moved on. We're no longer interested. You know what I mean? But if you drop a good song today's Tuesday, we're going to listen to it on Wednesday. We're going to listen to it on Thursday. We're going to listen to it next week. We're going to listen to it the week after. So great music just transcends. There's nothing that you can ever do to stop a good song.
And because another thing that I'm curious about, because you keep mentioning Zim rappers and what's happening in Zim, but I'm curious to know, like, for with myself, and I'm assuming with Z as well, we are not too familiar with Zim hip hop. So if you were to introduce someone or tell someone, if you were to introduce someone to Zim hip hop, which artist would be at the top of the list to say, if you want to know what Zim hip hop is about, this is who you need to listen to?
Oh, where do I start? Because I have a million artists. Like, every time I get asked this question, I'm always so scared, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have said this. Oh my goodness. But look, the thing with Zimbabwean hip hop right now is that there's a sound for everyone. There's literally
Mm.
someone making music for everyone. So right now, the one thing that I've noticed with Zim hip hop artists is that they're speaking a lot about the struggles of Zim, their upbringing, what they're currently going through. That's the one main message that you hear from some artists. Before I get into my thingy, then you'll get the other artists who are just making music for a good time, addressing the haters, the girlies in the club, the ones that are making the fun summer songs. There's a thing for everybody. So the one artist that is buzzing, incredible kid, by far one of the best performers we also have in the country. He goes by the name of K-Flow. K-Flow is incredible. He's just been coming through. You know when you have an artist who drops hit after hit after hit, it's K-Flow. We've also got the likes of Ray Kaz. Ray Kaz is just, I call him my superstar. Like, I love everything about him. Incredible artist. He has a great way of telling a story. I'm all about storytelling. Take me on a musical journey with your music. If you're going to be telling me about the hood, when I listen to your song, I want to literally
Put
feel
me
like
there.
I'm walking through the hood with what you're
Yeah.
telling me. Raycast, incredible.
Yeah.
Then K Breezy, I just mentioned him now.
Yeah,
From Ohio. Sick, like his metaphors. Some of them literally fly over my head, and I go back. You have to literally rewind and be like, you were saying what again? He does that a lot. You've got the likes of him.
Yeah.
You've also got the likes of Baga. He storytelling ability is incredible. You can't ever go wrong with him. Now, one of the biggest artists that we have, I also mentioned him already, Voch JT. He is on an incredible run right now. I mean, today he just launched a collaboration with. So you know how you know those counter books. What do you guys call them here? Merit. No, in Zim it's Merit. What are they called here? You know those counter books used at school. What are they called?
It's Merit books.
Is it Merit, right?
It's Merit books, yeah.
So today he drops and he lets us know that he's got a collaboration with them, and his picture is all over the Merit books. All the kids literally next year are going to be having his face on it. And so for me, here's the thing. For me to say an artist is all-rounded, there's so many factors that you have to have. So you have to have, obviously you have to be a good rapper. That's number one. Another thing that really takes precedence with me is your attitude. I don't have the time for cocky rappers. Your attitude says so much about you. Can someone speak to you? If you walk down the street and a fan stops you, can you stop and take a picture? Some rappers don't do that. These rappers that I mentioned have. I've still got a couple more that I'm going to mention. And then also, as much as you can make great music, are you business savvy? Because let's be honest, yeah, you can make money, but you can't make that much money, especially in Zim. Streams and that, very few, if any, make any money from that. So now you have to think about everything else besides the music. So business-wise, your performances, touring, collaboration, all those things. So Bolt JT right now is the one artist who's really do that very well. One of the biggest selling artists we have in the country. I'm going to be very honest. Honestly, he's not my fave, but he is an artist that is loved by millions in Zimbabwe. He goes by the name of Holy 10. If there's one thing I'll never, ever take away from him is his success. He is the complete Zimbabwean hip-hop success story today. What he has managed to accomplish, I mean, man, even the artists back in the day haven't really done half of what he's done. So for that, I'll always give him props. You've got other artists, Indigo Saint. Man, incredible. I think another thing that also gravitates me towards him is he's very in touch with himself. Rappers are very egotistical. Yeah, I'm the hottest. But he's very grounded, very down to earth, and he loves to speak about mental health. I just wish it was something that is spoken a little bit more with rappers, but it's not very common. But he does that very well. And the way he connects with his fans, he has these monthly letters. I like to call them love letters that he sends to his fans, where he literally opens up about what he's struggling with. He even opened up a site where the majority of the money that he made from his sales, he sent it to organizations that deal with mental health, things like that. Champions of change. I like you
Yeah.
calling my champion of change. And I
Yeah.
think it's a beautiful thing with him. Mile. Oh, Mile. So every time Mile drops a song, you have to have a thesaurus nearby. The words he used, I'm
Not
like,
just a
bro,
dictionary, like a
look,
proper
come
thesaurus.
on.
Yeah.
English words I've never heard of in my entire life. That's what Mal
Yeah.
does. And I'm always in awe every time. Like he dropped a track today called Quote Me. Credible fire
Yeah.
artist. Absolutely love what he does. Then we're gonna go to the Gerties. We've got Kiki Badass. She is a literal badass.
Badass.
She
Yeah.
doesn't play. She's very strong. She's very empowering. She's very confident. She oozes sexuality. I know people say no, hip hop art, female hip hop artists, they can rap. They just show us their bodies. Look, whatever. It's the whole package. It works. She's doing it very well, and I love it for her. She's not shy. She's not embarrassed. She'll tell you who she is, and she stands for everything. So I admire that a lot about her. And a lot of people would say, no, it's not a what. Look, I think we live in a world nowadays where people are going to express themselves the best way that makes sense to them. And if that's how she wants to do it, all good. We've also got the likes of Banshee. Banshee is actually a poet. So you know when you mix a poet and a rapper, oh, you're
Yeah.
you're destined for great, beautiful music, and that's what
Yeah.
she does. I'm a huge fan of Banshee.
Nice.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of Zim hip hop artists that are out there who are doing very well, but those are the ones that I really, really like. And obviously not to forget Dingo the Duke and Do Major for coming through with Shabin
Yeah.
Rap. You've also got Tanto Wavy. Man, like I told you, there's so many. Like there's so many Zimbabwean hip hop artists who are great, but if you'd like to just listen to what diversity, just try and listen to all those artists. So if you'd like me to, I have no problem. I can send you all their links and you can just
Please,
sit
please.
down and just go through and just be amazed at what there is. Like I said, we don't have the resources that a lot of other countries do. We don't have the spending power. We don't have all those things. I really do believe that a lot of Zimbabwean hip hop artists, they just need those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give them just an opportunity, give them a stage, give them a platform to be able to perform it, and you'll be completely blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noting what you just said right now about them being given platform, the opportunity, the time, and you just putting us on right now to the ones that you've mentioned, do you feel like the journalists, the audience, the fans, and others in the hip hop industry in Zim are doing enough for the hip hop industry in Zim?
I'd like to say yes and no. So remember, so the thing is obviously because I love hip hop. I've been listening to hip hop since I was like 7. I had no
Yeah.
business listening to the brat or little
I
kid at
always tell
7 years
Manelisi the same thing.
old.
I'm like, we
You
had
know,
no business.
I had no business
We
listening
had no
to that
business.
music. But I'm very grateful because it was a journey for me. I got to
Yeah.
experience so much great music then. I didn't really understand because I started listening to hip hop when I was very, very young. When I was like literally 7, 6, 7. So my sisters, I'm the youngest of 3 girls. My sisters would play a lot of hip hop and R&B. So you know how it is when you're a youngster, you always follow up to what your sisters are doing, and you just hear them playing all this music. They're dancing with their
Yeah.
friends, and you start to listen to it yourself. You're like, okay, this is very interesting, and it just grew with me. So for me, I'm very passionate about hip hop. So for me, anything, any conversation when it comes to talk about music, the first thing I'm going to automatically talk about, obviously, is hip hop. So when it comes to us, the people who are within the Zim hip hop community, can we say we're doing a lot? We absolutely are. We're trying literally the best. There's so many bloggers out there right now, way more than they used to be back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And we're really trying literally through all the hustle, the bustle, to put as much out there in regards to people finding out who and what exactly is happening within the Zim hip hop community. But now the problem is, if you aren't a Zim hip hop fan, you'll find that the majority of them don't really speak much about it. But now, remember, like I said, Zim hip hop right now is dominating the charts. So Zim hip hop artists are dominating everywhere. They are on flyers. They're #1 songs. They're touring now. They're literally performing in, I mean, Holy 10 was performing in Poland of all countries. You know what I mean? And it's never been done before. So I really just feel like I would like, it would be nice if the people who aren't really within, like obviously at ZFM, it's me and PD who are going to be the predominant people in hip hop. But I would like more of other people to gravitate towards more of Zim hip hop. They're only currently looking at the people who are charting, the people who are on top. But these other upcoming kids, they're not given as much, you know, because now the question will be like, oh no, we can't have upcoming artists on, you know, peak time. And my question is, why not?
Why not?
Like, why not? These artists, like, you can literally tell this is the next biggest thing. This guy, he may not have 10 million streams. He might only have maybe 1,000 streams and maybe like 50 listeners. But we know, I can tell you right now, I can tell you this guy's going to be the next superstar in the next 6 months. I can tell you that because I've got a good ear and I know. And I tell them, I'm like, guys, just please put him on your show, give an opportunity. They're like, no, well, you know, we kind of need to have. And I'm like, that's where the no comes in, where I feel like a lot of people aren't really pushing it where it's supposed to be. So basically, if you're not a superstar, you're not going to get some certain opportunities. Whereas with me, if I hear you and I think you're dope, you're definitely going to be on the fix. You know what I mean? And you'll find that a lot of these kids, oh my goodness, hearing their song on radio, getting their parents to hear them on radio, there isn't anything else in this world that any of these artists want more than that. Even if you ask some of the biggest artists in the world right now. I was watching an interview with Nadia Nakai, and she told me one of my biggest highlights of my career was when I heard my song play on radio for the first time. You know what I mean? And now, not only are you just being played on radio, but you're now being, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not a big top presenter. I'm not going to say that. But then there are obviously people who are on bigger platforms with bigger audiences. So obviously people on from breakfast, lunch, and drive have got a wider audience compared to my show, because my show is obviously a speciality show. If you're not that much into hip hop, you're not really going to tune in. Do you know what I mean? But with other platforms, it'll be really nice for these young kids to also be given opportunity there. You know what I mean? So I would like for that to happen. And people are like, well, no, if it's hip hop, just go to Lady K show. Not really. You know, I would like for them to be on these other platforms as well.
As well, yeah. That's
amazing. Yeah, and with that said, what do you think is the role of journalists in terms of just speaking about hip hop culture? What do you think is the role of journalists in pushing the culture and supporting the culture?
So our mandate is so first things for me is, we already know who's big. Great. We know Holy 10 is big. We know Vote JT is big. We know Baga's big. We know Kiki's big because she's performing it back to city. We know they're big. But what about, okay, I'm just gonna say a random name. Tom from Kambuzuma, for instance, who's got a song that could probably catapult and be the next biggest thing. So as a journalist, I need to uncover these artists, number one. I need to uncover hidden talent. I need to be able to say, there's a lot of great musicians that are out there. I am supposed to expose you to those artists. You already know the big artists. Great, you see them on Spotify, you see them, but I am supposed to make sure that I give those young kids a platform for you guys to be able to expose to them. That's what I need to do. We also need to, I really wish we had a place, but then what's happening also is we are doing it. So I did mention at the beginning that at the current moment, I'm literally one of the biggest commentators on Zim Hip Hop in Zimbabwe, but then I'm literally the only girl. You know, there aren't that many other women. There was another girl. Her name was Nova Black, but she was driven out, literally driven out because of her opinions. And she woke up one day and she said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I would like for us to have a little bit more tolerance towards difference of opinion. Because you see, the thing is, right, we're journalists, we're different people, we're never gonna have the same opinion about everything. It's just not possible. And what happens is that you'll find that I will be able to push a certain sound and you can push your sound and then other journalists can push their sound. And it's like a whole community of pushing so many different people. If we literally just, okay, Kuda, if you like this, cool. If you don't like this, cool as well. It'd be really nice if we could get that, because literally at the end of the day, like I did mention at the beginning, our role is to literally expose everybody else to what's happening out there. We have to constantly be pushing everything that's happening. And people like to sugarcoat things. I'm not a sugarcoater. If something is whack, it's whack, guys. I'm not attacking you personally. I'm just saying this particular song, to me, is not great. I'm not saying your entire catalog is whack. I'm just saying
horrible.
This song. You know what I mean? And I really wish there was just that openness as well that allows us to be able to openly express different views, thoughts, and opinions, you know. And I mean, obviously, I'm hard-headed, so I really couldn't care if you like me. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't stop me from waking up in the morning. It doesn't pay me a bill. Whatever. Like me or hate me, it's okay. But I would like there to be a little bit, because what happens is if we can't work together within, how are we gonna be able to work outside? You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of things that need to be also done within as a journalist. We just need to be a little bit more open. But I'm seeing now the tolerance is opening up a little bit more. There's a lot more communication. So you'll find that even on my platform, for instance, right? I will interview so many different Zimbabwean hip-hop bloggers, journalists. I mean, hey, if I got opportunity, I would even interview some of the presenters. But I don't believe in my platform is just my platform. It should just be my stuff. Not at all. If I see a blogger doing something great within his area and it's Zim hip hop, come on my platform. Let's have a chat. Let me maybe you've got your followers over there, but I've also got my followers, and I'd love for my followers to know what you're doing on your space. You know what I mean? So there was a community that was actually created like that, I think a couple of months ago, by a couple of bloggers, which is great because now we're just all sharing content. We're all just speaking about the same thing, and it's a good movement. So the role of us is to just basically, we have to unite before we can even do anything, to be very honest. We need to unite. We need to be able to tolerate each other. We need to be able to speak freely amongst each other, because now I don't want to now, there was a certain point in time where I promise you I could not tweet an opinion. I just couldn't. I would have to mute my comments. I would have to disappear off Twitter. I'd have to delete tweets. You know, it was really that bad at one point, until I realized that at the end of the day, it's not going to be very easy to be able to please everybody. But if this is what I'm literally supposed to be doing, I shouldn't be holding back. I shouldn't be scared because so and so and so is saying this. So my role as a Zim hip hop journalist is to constantly just go out there, push the music, talk about it, all the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, get people speaking, get people talking, get people interested. A lot of people weren't interested in Zim hip hop before. Hey, they weren't. People couldn't care less. But now you can just mention one Zim hip hop artist and you'll be able to trend the whole day on that one particular place. So I think for now, what we're doing is we're doing it very well. But we also just got a couple more baby steps we need to get through. But the role that we're doing at the current moment is moving. Our movement is quite well. It's healthy. I like it.
And that's great, man, because I feel like the more you guys speak about these artists, the more we get to know about them, and we get to see more of them on the Backstage stage, you know, more than one, more than two. We get to welcome more of them on the big hip hop stage in South Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what you said earlier, because what you said earlier about presenters not wanting to play certain music. What I was reminded about is Shaggy's "It Wasn't Me." So he made that song for his album. Forget what the title of the album is, and his record label itself, it didn't really like the song. But I think it was the last song that he submitted for the album. But and as we know today, like it was a smash hit, like worldwide. But the first person to ever play that song on radio was a radio presenter in Hawaii, where he somehow just came across the song. He played it on the radio show, and then people just started calling in, wanting to hear more of it. And that is how the build up to the song becoming global pretty much started. And it's just to add on to what you were saying, like for especially with presenters, it's very important to play music from artists. They might not necessarily be big. They might not necessarily be famous. They might just be starting out. But one of the roles in as a journalist is to push music, especially if you know that this song is nice. It's a beautiful song. It doesn't have to have like person doesn't have to have a million listeners. They don't have to have a million followers on social media. But at the end of the day, music is music. And if you come across a song, or come across an artist song and you hear that this thing is beautiful, and you are able to play it on radio, but then you should be able to play it. And it doesn't have to be just because you don't specialize in hip hop. But if you come across a beautiful hip hop song and you feel like it can play on your radio show, then that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another word of advice that I try to give hip hop artists is that, look, when you make a song, it also sometimes goes back to the artist. So you will find
Yeah.
that there are artists who make incredible hip hop songs, but now it can only be listened to a hip hop head. So the average person,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
I can't hear this song. Like my mom,
Mm.
she was very honest. She was like, listen, I don't like your music. Your music is it's loud, it's too fast. I said, I'm not interested.
It's not for me.
But
Yeah.
then you'll find that there are artists, it's a hip hop artists who can make songs that anybody can listen to, you know? So what
Yeah.
happens is that you will not get these presenters like, no, you need to give us a song that I can play on my show. And to a certain extent, they're right. Because you can't be hearing
Yeah.
a song that's got bars for bars for bars at like 7:45. You're on your way to work. You don't want to hear a song that's got bars. Like, no,
Yeah.
you want to hear like a fun song, like AKA Congratulate Me,
Yeah.
Feline Versace.
Yeah.
It's sing-alongs. I like to call them sing-alongs. There's so many hip-hop songs
Yeah.
that are sing-alongs. You know what I mean? And you'll find that a lot of artists, a lot of presenters, will gravitate towards the hip hop songs that are more easier on the ear, that are
Yeah.
daytime friendly. For me, if you listen to the Fix, if you tune in tomorrow, oh no, we don't play. We'll play you proper hip hop songs. Like if you're a hip hop head, you fall in love with the music that you listen to on the Fix. But then some of the songs, I will be honest, you just can't play them anywhere else. You can't. And you must also understand, it's radio.
Yeah.
It's radio. Radio works in a particular way. It's a commercial radio station. People are trying to drive people to listen to the radio station. You've got advertisers, you've got
Yeah.
moms listening, you've got, all this thing. And then, like I said, the technicality of how a radio station works. You've got clocks. This is peak time. This is the time when people are in their cars. This is the time when a certain age group is listening. This is the time when you've got kids in the car. You can't play a song that's got swear songs from start to end and it's just beep 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 when there's kids in the car. You can't. There's times when there's business people listening. There's times when those people are driving from one meeting to the next. You have to be very cognitive of the kind of music that you play as well. It's a whole ecosystem of how it works. So now also as an artist, you also have to be cognitive that, okay, when I'm making this song, who am I making this song for? Am I making this song for my real fans, my real hip hop fans, or do I want to make something that when Kuda's mom tunes in, it's a hip hop song, mind you. I'm not saying they're moving away from the hip hop, not at all. But when Kuda's mom tunes in, will she like the song? You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that a lot of artists kind of miss out on, and then that's when they're like, no, we're not given the opportunity to be played on these other shows. It's just the Fix. And it's also sometimes, it comes back to you as an artist. You need to make fun, I call them fun sing-alongs. And you'll find that some of the biggest artists in the hip-hop artists in the world have these songs. Look at Notorious B.I.G., Nas, Jay-Z. If you look, Jay-Z's, one of his biggest songs is New York. Is that a hard hidden rap song? No. That's a fun sing-along, but it's from one of the greatest rappers of all time. You know what I mean? So there has to be that balance also as an artist. If you want to be that artist that is, I only want to be a conscious rapper, I only want to make a certain type of music, cool. Not a problem. You're more than welcome. I'm not saying change who you are. Absolutely not. But you can still be that conscious rapper and have a sing-along song. Now that is what makes a great artist. A great artist is able to be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try and find something and just, maybe getting like maybe an R&B artist on the side, a nice girl that everybody likes, or even get like, I don't know. Like, there's so many ways you can make a great song. So as much as the presenters are not playing these songs, they're just some songs that they just can't play. I'm sorry. Like, for instance,
Yes, true.
especially songs with swear words. Why?
Yes.
You can't play that at
You
6:30 in the
can't.
morning. You just
Yeah.
can't. Whether you wanna argue with me or not, you got
It's the
kiddies in the
truth.
car.
Yeah.
You got kiddies in the car. Do you know what I mean? So it's a long way to go, but now what's happening is that a lot of artists are starting to break through. So Volt JT right now has a song with Makadzi that dropped
Yes.
on her project, and we were completely blown away. We were like, how did that even happen? We were. I was so impressed. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. So now not only are you giving us proper bars here, but now we've got the Makads in it, making a fun, song that everybody can listen to. You know what I mean? And now obviously we've moved past you just targeting hip hop heads. You're now going to a completely different market where people didn't even know who the heck you were, but now that they do, because you're playing around with sounds, you're playing around with artists, and it's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that with being an artist, but they have to be very cognitive of that if they want to be able to be played on shows past shows like The Fix, basically.
That's important actually, because when you think about it, like I feel like, and it sucks that it happens like this most of the time, but it's usually that one song that actually breaks them out. That's the one song that makes people know about this person, catch on, and after that, they literally have the free will to do whatever. They can go back to their rap, their conscious rap and
Exactly.
whatnot. But then that one song is the one that propels them, if I can say that.
Absolutely. Like when K-Flow came out, he came through with a lot of bars. And then he came and he dropped a song called Mfano Wepajecha. That song, till today, like, is one of the biggest songs that we have in Zim hip hop. It's an incredible song. It was an instant hit. Is it a song filled with bars? No, it's not. My
No.
mom can sing along to that song. My mother literally sings along to that song because it's fun, it's easy on the ear. He's still being K-Flow. He's still being the artist that we love so much. And the thing is, he didn't even. So another thing I feel like artists are also scared of. I think they're scared of disappointing their fans. Look, I'm a hip hop head to the core, but when a hip hop artist is able to make a song that I can play when I'm putting my makeup on, about to go out, listen.
That's an
If you
artist.
can make a hip hop song, you must also understand that as much as I love hip hop, 90% of my friends don't listen to hip hop at all. They'll only know the songs that they hear on radio. Anything else,
That's it. Yeah.
Very few friends or my friends listen to hip hop. So now, even when they come to my house, I have certain playlists that I play for them. And there's a certain playlist that I'll play for my hip hop hits. So if you can make a song that I can play for my friends who don't like hip hop and they can sing along, you've made it as an artist. That's what I'm always trying to say. We know you can rap. I know you can rap. I know that. But can you make a rap song that a non-hip hop head can vibe to? Can you do that?
No, that's the art.
That's the art right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's conversations that we need to have. Some are very okay with it. Some are like, nah. But at the end of the day, look, that's just how the ecosystem works. Unfortunately, I don't make the rules, and
it's there. It's just like that.
It's there. So it's literally just adapt. Keep your vibe. Keep who you are. I always say if it's tricky for you to do that, make a love song. Make a love song. That's the easiest way. Easiest way.
Yeah.
Just make a love song, bro. Even if especially if you're crying in the song, instant hit. Instant hit. I always say, I know if you guys follow me on Twitter. I always say if you're dating a rapper, break their heart. They give us premium content when they're heartbroken. Oh my God. Some of the
until they break yours and they use your voice notes as an interlude. Because one thing about rappers, they'll break your heart and use your voice notes.
So a love song, it's the easiest way. Just make a fun love song about a girl you love her. Yada, yada, yada. Do a cute little video. Hooked. Now, not only have you got us hip hop heads, now you've got the girlies singing along. You've got the guys singing along to the girlfriends. Girls are making it their ringtones. People are using it on TikTok. I promise you, people say, no, it's so hard to make a hit song. No, it's not. It's not hard to make a hit song, guys. It's the formula is there. You just have to apply it and then use your talent. Get a good producer, mix, master it nicely, boom, a hit song.
The
So
hit.
Yeah.
they just need to listen. A lot of
Yeah.
artists don't want to listen, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to move away from the music a little bit. And I just want to hear your opinion about Back to the City. I don't think you went to Touchline's show. I think you might have missed that one. But I want to hear about your experience at Back to the City this year. We touched a little bit about it, basically about the part where there was a time where media was not allowed backstage. But your overall experience this year at Back to the City, how was it?
Okay, so this was my second. This is my third. I think it was my second experience at no, my third. Sorry. So
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it. So usually when I go to events, I go to a lot of events in Joburg, a lot. And I go to a lot of hip hop events. I just go to, and I've also just opened up as well. People be like, oh my God, I saw you at Netflix. I don't like to limit myself when it comes to where I'm going. So the more diverse, the more crazier, the better. Because what happens is that you open up your line of getting to know different people. You get to
yeah,
meet different people, you get to network. One of my biggest things in life is your network is literally your net worth. Who knows you? Who can vouch for you?
Yeah.
When you go to an event and you have an issue, can you make one or two phone calls and things are sorted out for you? The reason why I'm mentioning all of this is
mm,
because when I went my first ever back to city, I remember I was alone. I got my media accreditation because what I did was I think I was still in Zim. So a lot of the contacts that I made in South Africa, I made them whilst I was still in Zim on radio. Because remember, I was on radio in
mm,
Zim, I was in studio full time, and then I came here in 2020. I got locked down, I got shut in here for like the whole of 2020, and
yeah,
I couldn't do anything. So that's how I started doing everything remotely. So before I even was locked down here, I made it a mission that I'm going to connect myself with the different record labels. I'm going to connect myself with all the platforms. So Cotton Fest, when Rick was still alive, we interviewed him on The Fix when I was in Zim. When AKA dropped, I think was it Touch My Blood, on his list of media for his media run, we were there. So I made sure that I got people to know me before I even stepped into the country. You know what I mean? And it really
Yeah.
helped me because when I
yeah,
was eventually here, I'd be like, okay, guys, so I'm finally here. What's up? What can we do? And I started getting invited to a lot of different events. So when I went to my first Back to City, it was dope. That Back to City, they allowed media. That's where you were supposed to be, basically backstage. There was nowhere else you were supposed to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
Backstage at the front to take pictures. We weren't allowed in the VIP because that was literally for VIP. But everywhere else, we were allowed
mm,
as media. Second year, now obviously now it's a whole year after. I've met more people, I know more people. So that was the year. That was Keith Murray. Was that Keith Murray? And that was the Keith Murray year. It was still the
yeah.
same thing. I got
2022,
to
I
know a lot
think.
more people. I still wasn't in. No, the first time, sorry, was Keith Murray. Look at me. Then the second time, which was
Yeah.
last year, was Bob Deep, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
then obviously now I know a lot more people. People know me more, so it was very easy for me to be able to maneuver around. We're allowed backstage as media. So now
yeah,
this year, because now mind you, now I'm well connected. I know a lot more people. I didn't come as media. I was invited by Hennessy. So Hennessy invited me. They allowed me into their VIP. Great views, everything was great. I still applied for media accreditation because I covered it. I mean, I covered it on my show. I did an interview with Rashid. So, I mean, obviously, they were like, okay, if you want media, we can give you, and I still got it. Then, so now I
yeah,
remember I've been attending for the past 2 years. So, the security guards, let me tell you how I got into backstage, right? The security guards knew me from the past two back to the cities. So when they saw me, like, oh, girl, you're here. They instantly opened backstage for me. Like, come on, you understand? You understand? And they even knew. So remember, my first back to the city with Keith Murray, I was a problem. I was like, listen here, I'm media. I need to stand right in front of the stage so I can collect content. And we argued a little bit, but eventually, like, just let the girl go. Second year, I did the same thing. The guy's like, look, she was here last year, let her go. And when they saw me again this year, it was very easy for me. That's why when I was like, when Banyana was like, we can't go backstage, I was like, says who? Says who? Of course we can go backstage. And that's literally how I went backstage. So remember, like I said, I've been attending so many different shows. People constantly see, like, I know we know her. It's not an issue. Just let her through. My experience this year was great. I didn't have any issues. I'll be very honest. I like the performances. It's just that these days I can only take concerts for so long. Back in the day, I'll be there to the last artist. But
somebody who feels me.
Girl, like I just can't do it because I don't drink anymore. So I quit drinking this year. So obviously my energy levels aren't peak like they used to be. So literally by 10 o'clock, I want to be at home and everything. So even this year, I actually left halfway through Benny the Butcher's performance because I was tired, I was cold, I'd seen everything I wanted. I didn't even collect that much content. If anything, I just interviewed the spokesperson for Hennessy because they invited me. The majority of the artists, I really wanted to interview Usimamane, but I didn't want to do it there. So I just reached out to the manager because it was backstage. And then I eventually did it later on for my show. But I had a good experience. I won't complain. Like I said, for me, because I know someone. So even if somebody was trying to stop me somewhere, I know someone I can give a call. I'm like, look, I'm not allowed here. Make a plan. Help me out. So it's easier. I've noticed in this industry, if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone, it's very easy. Because even Banyana's like, I can't go back. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about, girl? Just follow me. And when the security guard saw me, they literally opened for us and we went backstage. That's how I went backstage.
Yeah, I think you're the right person to know for next year.
Listen, hit me up. Trust me. I know someone.
You know someone who knows someone.
I know someone who knows someone. And listen, I may not have that number, but I can guarantee you I know somebody who's got the number and they'll give it to me. Yeah.
Connections.
But also what I'd love to know is what are your plans for the next 12 months? Because so my understanding before this interview is that I thought you were actually full-time in Zimbabwe. But now that you're in South Africa, you're basically established yourself to a degree here. What are your plans for the next 12 months? What are we going to see from you in the next 12 months?
So currently, I mean, obviously radio is still there. Radio will always still be there. The fix will still be there. I'm still gonna be doing that. You will still see me for the next year, doing what I do best on my platform there. If anything, I'm gonna be growing more on social media. So, like I did mention, I do a lot of things out of hip hop. So you'll find that I cover a lot of red carpets. I cover a lot of events. I cover awards. I cover launches. I cover so many different things. So this year it's been there, but I think next year is going to be a little bit more elevated. So I'm going to be trying to collect a lot more interviews live on red carpets and probably creating content, dropping content in real time. I usually don't do that. I've been very lazy this year with that. You'll find me at an event, but I won't do much, you know. So next couple of months, I'm definitely going to be pushing on that. I'm a firm believer in having so many different colored eggs in one basket. I don't know. I'm a very colorful girl. Even if you meet me, you know, I'll speak for Africa. So as much as hip hop will always be my baby. It'll always be my backbone. I think if you mention my name anywhere, the first thing they'll say, oh, the hip hop girl. Absolutely. But I also want to expand into different spaces. And the one great thing about South Africa is that there's a million different spaces. There's so many different spaces. There's so many different spaces where you can create content, you can be able to meet new people. Because look, yes, hip hop is great. It's something that I'll never ever tire from. I'll never move away from. But at the same time, I also want to do other things as well. So I would love to be able to, which I am currently doing, but I'd love to also attend, you know, fashion shows. I want to cover fashion. It's a very different thing, you know. And you know the funny thing is, I was once on a panel with women from America. So it was America, South America, North America, and South America, sorry. And we're just talking about hip hop. And the one thing I said was, I would love to see women in hip hop on different platforms. So when it's women on hip hop, it's literally just hip hop platforms, you know. Why can't we be put on platforms where we can talk about our careers when we're having there's
Yeah.
like a beauty trade fair? Why not? Why can
Yeah.
women in hip hop not be put on platforms when there are these high teas? It's very rare you see a woman from within a hip hop space be able to speak on these platforms, because I think at the end of the day, we're all in it in the same thing, in the entertainment and media industry. It's just that we're in different
Yeah.
spaces. So I'm in a hip hop space. You're maybe a fashion and content creator. You're a travel and lifestyle. Why can't we all sit together and have a great conversation about what we're doing within our respective fields? You know what I mean? It'll be really nice to take our conversations onto other platforms. You know what I mean? To get other people to know
Yeah.
what it's like being a woman in
Yeah.
hip hop. I would love to speak about this on carte blanche. You know what I mean? Why can't we go on a carte blanche type of vibes? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't really think there's anything wrong
Yeah.
with us not being able. We're still incredible women. We're very beautiful. We're smart. We're educated. We travel. Very well spoken. We know what we're doing. Why can't we also be on these platforms? You know what I mean? So the only way that people can recognize you on in those spaces, if you actually get into their spaces. You know what I mean? So you find that I'll go to these
Mm.
events and they'll ask me, so what I do. I'm like, guys, I host a hip hop show. I'm like, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You do a hip hop show, but you're at a content at a beauty event. Like, I'm fighting tooth and nail right now to get a ticket to the Clicks Playground. It's happening this weekend. Listen, I'm still a girl at the end of the day. I want free products as well. I want toiletries. I want
Yeah.
makeup.
Yeah.
I want all those things. You know what I mean? So it's not a thing of, as much as I love my hip hop, I'm still a girl at the end of the day. I would love to also be in all these other spaces. So the next 12 months, you're gonna see
Actually,
me in the
yeah.
craziest places,
I
guys. You're gonna see
support
me
that.
talking at a
Yeah.
Doves event, talking about who's the dopest rapper in Zimbabwe. Watch me do it. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to infiltrate spaces where
Mm.
hip hop is, oh no, it's a hush hush. There's nothing hush hush about hip hop. Hip hop is a
And there
culture.
shouldn't be.
It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle. People are making millions and millions of dollars all over the world. I mean, let's look at some of the biggest hip hop artists in the country. They're doing great things in South Africa. You know what I mean? So why not even allow the woman in hip hop to do that?
Yeah.
If you look at like Nadia, Nadia, and she said it herself, her last biggest hit wasn't it like 2018?
Yeah, it was years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until today, Nadia is in conversations everywhere. When you talk beauty, she's there. Fashion,
Actually,
she's there. Endorsements, she's there. She's still performing those songs from back
that
then.
song.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, and I think what
Yeah.
she did was she mastered the art of, okay, I may be in this hip hop space, but I'm gonna still I'm gonna make sure my name is brought up in other circles as well. That's what it's all
Mm.
about. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And it's very encouraging. People are like, no, but she's not done anything. Why? She's even got a reality show on BT. People are like, what
Yeah.
is she gonna show us? I'm like, she's gonna be showing
Yeah.
what she does because she's doing something. You know what I mean? So it's those kind of things that I'm really gravitating towards for the next 12 months, is just being
Yeah.
able to speak about my story, speak about hip hop in other spaces where you wouldn't normally find it. You know what I mean? And luckily, like I did say, South Africa's got so many great spaces where they allow you to be able to do that.
Mm.
So that's where you're definitely going to be seeing me for the next couple of months.
I like that. Taking up space everywhere, literally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speak your story. We have incredible stories to tell. So many struggles that we go through. If I was to sit here and tell you the horror stories I've experienced, but then at the same time, I could literally give advice to the next girlie who wants to be a part of this. You'll find that a lot of women want to gravitate toward it, but they don't know how to. They're like, I really want to
Yeah.
get into radio, but I don't know how to. As much as I host a hip hop show, I'm still a radio presenter. I can sit here and give you a 5 hour like masterclass on how to be the next biggest radio presenter. I can do that. Just because I'm in hip hop doesn't necessarily mean that I haven't got many other skills or qualities that I can share with so many different people all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And while we're there, since you've taken us there, like, what's the one burning thing that you would love to tell to a young girl that wants to enter into the media space or wants to do what you do?
Girly, get ready for a roller coaster. um, it was very easy for me. So remember how I told you I got onto radio by accident, but it was very easy for me to be able to just flow. Like the guy saw me, he took one look at me, he's like, you're literally destined for radio. Why are you not here auditioning for radio? With media and the industry, it has to come from a place of passion. Please do not do it because you think you're going to be the next superstar.
Famous.
Wearing Gucci shoes and traveling. Girl, it's probably going to take you 10 or maybe even 15 years to even hit an ounce of success. You will find, let me not discourage you, you will find there are some people, some women who do get in the industry and they get off automatically. Some will work for them, but some it doesn't. So when you're in it, I need you to be in it because you genuinely want to be in it. It's something that you're very passionate about. You're willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to hear 100 no's until you get to that one yes. I have been rejected countless times. So remember when I told you when I came here, so funny story. When I came 2020, I had actually come back to the city for that year. I'd actually come with my nephew. I was like, I'm going to take him to a concert. Lo and behold, lockdown happens the week after lockdown. Literally the week after we get locked in, I automatically go into panic mode. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not in Zimbabwe. People, because now obviously when you're on radio, you go out, because I used to go out a lot, and people would see me about. So like, I know Kuda's on radio. We see her. They could. I was around, but now that I'm locked in a completely different country, it was going to be so different. I panicked. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do next so I can still stay relevant in Zim? Because look, let's be honest. Yes, we're all stuck onto our laptops and stuff. People weren't staying up to listen to a hip-hop show, especially when you're at home. They were not. Very few people were.
Yeah.
I said, okay, what am I going to do to stay relevant in people's minds and people's ears? So then I did a show called, I can't even believe I forgot what it's called. I'll check it up the name. But what I did was I did these daily, I think they were like the most popular shows that happened, these daily IG lives with personalities everywhere in the world. So remember, I've got this huge contact base, right? So I know all the record labels, I know a lot of artists. And mind you, remember, everybody was at home. Everybody was at home. Everybody was on their phones, on the internet. So I was like, okay, let me create a daily IG live where I just speak to all of our personalities, find out how they're doing, if they're making any music and so forth. And it blew up. I literally got to a stage where I interviewed Damon Dash. I interviewed 112. I interviewed Avant. I interviewed Little Mo. I interviewed, oh my goodness, Tiwa Savage. I interviewed Casper in his car. That's the day I found out that Casper has got Wi-Fi in his car. I was like, bro, what you say? I interviewed everybody, So what happens is when people saw me interviewing all these incredible personalities, like, oh my God, you're doing, you're amazing, you're doing all these things, but they don't understand that it was tough. So I had to do. So I spoke to my station manager. He's like, no problem. So I took over the radio station's IG page. Obviously, it's got thousands of followers. I don't have as many followers. I said to myself, if I use my own page, I'm not going to gain as much traction. But if I use my radio station, it's got like thousands and thousands of followers, it'll be bigger. And it was very big. So what people don't know is that behind the scenes, it was tough. It was, for me to even get Damon Dash, it took weeks. But I got it, So now it goes back to that thing that I was talking about. You have to be really passionate about it. You have to understand that when you see people coming up and interviewing all these great people, I know a lot of people were just confused. Like, we don't know how Lady K is doing it. She's getting all these people. You don't understand that in the background, I didn't have a phone. I was using my mom's phone. I didn't have a ring light. Sometimes the Wi-Fi wouldn't work. Sometimes the artist would cancel last minute. Sometimes they'd say no. For me, to get Donnell Jones, I got Donnell Jones. How did it was crazy, but I got him. You know what I mean? And it's that determination. You have to really want it. You have to want to go through the sleepless nights, You have to want to go through the crazy criticism. People are going to criticize you left, right, and center. You have to want it. You have to be passionate about it. My IG live stories, they were very great. They were very popular. I decided to end it because obviously the world opened up and it was getting just harder. People weren't interested anymore because people now, well, once the world opened up, people are now going to shows, people are going to concerts. So they're like, why do I need to go on IG live anymore? Everyone's outside. You know what I mean? So I kind of let it go.
Yeah.
It was very disappointing. It hurt a lot because it was a baby that I just come up with. But it now goes back again once to your passion. What are you in it for? Are you in it because you genuinely love what you do? Do you love connecting people? Because remember what we're doing is, what I do is I connect your favorite artist to you. You don't get the opportunity to hear what this person is going through, but I'm the person who's going to be like, okay, look, so I've got these fans who really love you. Tell me your story. They'd love to hear from you. Type of vibes. You have to really want to be able to do that. And obviously you have to want it all, like I mentioned. Another thing that has really helped me in my career is my support system. I think you heard me mention that at one point my phone died. My mom was like, use my phone, use my phone. If you really want to do it, just use my phone. And my support system, like my mother, she's like, Kuda, I really hate your music. Your music sucks. It's loud, it's noisy. But you know what? I will tune in. I'll listen to whatever you're saying. I don't know half of these artists. I will never go to any of these shows. But you know what? I'm going to support you. When people reject you, when you do something and people don't really like it, you're going to need that support system that you can fall back on to remind you, hey, today was a bad day, but tomorrow can be a good day. You know what I mean? You're going to want people to remind you that, obviously, when people see me on social media, it's Lady K, but at home, I'm Kuda. My dad calls me Kuda. My sisters call me Kuda. My little nieces call me Auntie Kuda. You know what I mean? You need that. You need a place where you can move away, detach from that. So work hard. If you ever need any help, my DMs are always open. I always say it's tough, especially for the girlies. Just come to the DMs. If you need assistance, advice, please. I'll always respond. It's a community. I didn't get to where I was by myself. There are people who help me as well, So I'm always willing to help. I did say at the beginning that eventually I'm going to move away from being in the forefront and being in the back where I can guide you. And I'm going to be like, girl, do not go to that producer's house. Do not go to that one's house. No, he's lying. There's nothing good there for you. Okay. I can tell you all those things. You know what I mean? I can tell you this is a good person to work with. This person is that, we need that. Because you'll find that girls come into this industry and they don't know anyone. No one, not a soul. And you'll find there's certain people who will take advantage of that, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And they need people to be able to help them. And I'll always help you. And people know you don't play with me because I'll put you on blast on social media. Like, please don't try and play with the girlies out there. I don't really give a damn who you are. If you're going to go out there and try to be funny or slick, trust, I'm going to make you trend by the end of the day. So you need that big sister kind of vibes. And I'll always provide big sister vibes. I can understand that sometimes it will happen in the industry. You'll get the girlies who come in excited, and when you try and tell them, they turn against you. I've had so many of these artists turn against me. No, Lady K, you're a hater. How can I possibly hate on a Zimbabwean hip-hop artist? My mandate, like literally, like right now, as soon as I'm done with you guys, I'm going to start working on my show tomorrow. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is just talking about some hip-hop artists, It's going to happen, but I've learned to deal with it and overcome it. But my DMs are always open. Expect a lot of no's, a few yeses, but once you get the yes, I promise you, it's going to overshadow all the no's that you've ever received. It's going to be like a grand five. I remember when we started the Fix. So me and PD started the Fix, and no one had ever heard anything that we're doing on radio. And then, so what happened was there was an interview that happened, and for some very strange reason, they decided to take what PD said and said that I said it. But I didn't say that. They ran with it on social media. Next thing, there was a hashtag Fix the Fix, right? And the rappers, disgruntled rappers, by the way, mind you, it's not even listeners, it's rappers who are saying Lady K needs to get off the Fix because she's saying music is whack. Certain songs are whack. The funniest thing we've ever seen ever. Telling a journalist she can't be rated because she said an opinion. But things like that happen. And that hashtag trended for 2 weeks. You can imagine what it's like every time you log on to Twitter. It's someone saying something incredibly hurtful about you. Things are not even true. And they're not even saying anything to your co-host. It's just you. And that's what you're going to have to face. You're going to face a lot of scrutiny because, yeah, you're a girl. There were times, yes, I wanted to quit. But mom was like, hell no. You didn't come this far to come this far, girl. Come on. Suck it up. Today's a bad day. Tomorrow will be a good day. Okay. So you're going to get a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people are not going to like you. Some will agree with you. Some will be able to vibe with you. You're going to meet some incredible people, but you're also going to meet some very, very, very cruel people who are going to do anything and everything to break you. So keep your head up. I pray. Woo, Lord knows. I'm like, listen, today, I don't know what you're trying to do with me. I know you say your plans are not my plans, but I don't know about this plan. But it works. He's always there. Yeah. Pray if you have to, cry if you have to, but don't ever let anybody deter you from what you are very passionate about. If you know who you are, you know where you're going. Everything I promise you that's meant for you will eventually come for you.
Yeah.
The little girl in me, the adult girl in me needed to
if I could speak to my younger self, I'd be like, girl, just hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. It's gonna get tough, but
it'll get better.
There are gonna be some very, very beautiful days. Very.
Oh man, that was beautiful. Yeah. Like that's what I needed to hear, honestly. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that truly was incredible. Thank you so much for that, Kuda. I don't know, because I don't have anything else. Z, do you have anything else that you'd love to ask her?
To be honestly, the way she just wrapped it up, I really don't want her in that moment. Everything she just said right now, that's a perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, man, thank you guys so much. Sorry?
Yeah. No, you can carry on.
No, I was gonna say thank you so much. It's always nice to be on the other side. I'm the one that's always asking the questions. There's sometimes where I feel like right now I'm on because now obviously we're going towards the end of the year. Nobody really wants to hear me talking for 45 minutes on the fix. No, we're going to silly season. People want to hear music. Nobody wants to hear about your struggles as an artist. So now I've got like generic questions. Hey, how's it going? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you currently working on? What's happening next? Great, thank you. Introduce your next song. I'm at that stage now, guys, because like I was even trying to explain to my co-host. I'm like, who wants to hear a 25-minute interview about a rapper's struggles? No. Guys, it's quarter to festive season. And even the music now. I'm also telling my presenter, I'm like, I was telling my co-host, PD, I was like, look, we're going to festive season. Let's play fun songs. Upbeat, get us into the mood, get into the festive season. We can start being boring mid-January. You know what I mean? When people are that's what they want. Yeah. But for now, nobody wants long, boring conversations. Nobody wants, your song about your mother, what happened? Oh no, we don't want counseling sessions now. We want fun, upbeat, get to the point is what I'm trying to where we're going to now. Get to the point, let's move on to the next song. So it's literally like the summer's the summer's logo was less noise, more music. That's what we want. Less talk, more music. So definitely was what I'm about this time. From now, if you listen to my show tomorrow, I've got 3 questions for you. If you're lucky, 3, sometimes even 2, or it's 1, and it's broken down into so many parts that you literally have a minute and 30
it's one
seconds.
question.
Just give me what you give me. We're playing your song next. We'll move on to the next person. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for this. I always appreciate telling my story. I have one of the craziest stories, and it's always so much fun to speak it. And I hope whoever does listen or watch this, gets motivated to want to just follow their dreams, follow your heart. It's a tough, cold world out there. It's not easy navigating it by yourself, but when I get platforms like this will allow me to tell a story, hopefully I can motivate somebody to dream big, and face that fear of rejection. You're gonna get rejected either way. Come on, we've all been rejected. We're rejected by jobs, men, family, you name it. So it's a learning process, but thank you, my inner child is always so happy when I get to speak so much about this, because a lot of, I mean, obviously my friends know my story. They're gonna ask me, so Kuda, how did you get on radio? It's gonna ask me that because they already know, you know what I mean. So I get to speak it again, and my hustles
Yeah.
and bustles. It's a beautiful experience. So thank you also for
Yeah.
allowing me to
Thank
speak my story.
you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
no,
much.
and
Really
thank you as
appreciate your
well
time.
for sharing your time with us, and sharing your story with us. We look forward to actually talking to you again. And we
Definitely.
actually say this to all our guests, because everyone that we have on here is someone that we believe in. It's someone that we love, it's someone that we appreciate.
Ah,
And it's one of and part of it is because we all love hip hop, we all love music, and this is a community that we're trying to build. So thank you very much for your time. Yeah, thank you
thank
for
you.
being with us. We are looking forward to talking to you again, and hopefully next time it will be in person. But yeah,
Yes.
but from us, that is it. We're very excited to actually have this, and we're gonna put it up next week, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, we're very much excited to put it up on our YouTube channel. Have all our subscribers get to know you, those who don't know you as yet. And yeah, we're looking forward to the next time again.
Absolutely. Are you guys going to Maftown Heights? Sorry.
Oh yeah, 100%,
Also, I'll
We
see you
are
there.
definitely going.
100%.
We are
Yeah,
The
definitely
link
going.
up. Another link
We
up.
yeah,
are definitely going.
Kuli Chan is
yeah,
my homie. So I was like, listen, I'm coming. He's
yeah.
like, please come through. So yeah, don't worry. I know all the security guards, and Kuli's my friend. So no one will stress us. We will go backstage. Don't worry. I got
Yeah,
you
I know the
back. Okay.
security guards. This
yeah,
is your laugh now, and I love it.
yeah. And I've got to meet him because he and I share a birthday. So I have to
Oh
meet him
wow.
at Maftown
Really? Oh,
Heights. Yeah,
nice.
No, that's
yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. No, don't worry about that.
yeah.
I know someone who knows someone, so I'll get you Kuli. Don't worry.
Oh, dope. That would be incredible. Yeah,
Be
but anyway, thank you
amazing.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Lady Kuda, and
Thank
thank you so much to
you.
Thank you.
all everyone who was watching this. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please do so. Please share, please like, please share it with your friends, your family, friends, everyone in between. Until next time, from myself, Manelisi, and the beautiful superstar Oracle Zima Zibugo, I will see you again next week. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
so much, kids. Thank you
Thank you
so much,
guys.
Manelisi.